What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be reacting to it goes Kyle Larson and then Max Verstappen for best drivers in the world. I am looking forward to this one because obviously it's going to be to do with F1, and I have recently, if you've been following my reactions to the Dirt series, you will know that I have kind of taken a liking to Kyle Larson as well. So this is going to be a good video for me. I feel like it's going to be one of those videos where I want to pause it every 2 seconds and keep talking. So yeah, I'm excited. But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe. Over half of you that watch my videos still aren't subscribed. Just hit the bell. It takes 2 seconds. And if you'd like to become a member on this channel and receive exclusive perks, you can also do that by hitting the join button down below. Right, let's go.
Is Max Verstappen as good as Kyle Larson?
I don't know. Is he?
Welcome back to Break Hard. My name is Matt. So this past week, Jenna Fryer from the AP kind of ignited a social media firestorm when she said that Kyle Larson has entered the conversation with Max Verstappen as the world's greatest driver. Now, I think it should be reversed. Is Max Verstappen as good as Kyle Larson? And before all of the uncultured, small brain, beans on toast eating Europeans come at me in the comments, pay attention for a second. When you look at the racing resumes overall, Kyle Larson is a much more diverse, much more well-rounded race car driver than Max Verstappen is. Is Max a great Formula 1 driver? Yes.
Yes.
Is he in great equipment? Yes.
Yes.
Has he raced anything outside of an open-wheel car? No.
No.
And that right there is the problem. Kyle Larson is a better all-around race car driver than Max Verstappen.
Yeah, and I've learned that now
and
because I've been watching the Dirt series.
Kyle Larson's resume, like I said, is massively more impressive. So when you look at Max's numbers, yeah, they're fine, but they're not anything that's spectacular outside of Formula One. Like I said,
and that's fair. I was going to make that point anyway,
but we're not going to touch that topic right now. He's a
when you started comparing them, I was like, well,
great open wheel driver. But when you look at Kyle Larson's resume,
Kyle's done so
vastly more impressive. 25 NASCAR Cup Series wins, 4 on road courses. Those are circuits where you turn both left and right, which seems to be a foreign concept to the Europeans who think that Americans only know how to turn left.
Can you stop including me in this stereotype, please? Because I disagree.
Tracks you turn left and right on. He has 3 NASCAR Truck Series victories. And then you look at his resume outside of NASCAR, it's more impressive than Max's resume alone as well. When you look at it, he's a 2015 Rolex 24 at Daytona overall winner. All right, again, turning left and right there in a different style car at that. He's a 2-time Knoxville Nationals winner in a sprint car. He's won the Kings Royal. He's won the Chili Bowl 2 times. He went top
and I've witnessed that in the Dirt series.
At that, maybe it was the second year. He goes out there and wins the Prairie Dirt Classic. He also won the Hillbilly 100, 2 of the biggest races on the Dirt late model schedule. Now he's qualified 5th for his first Indianapolis 500 in a car that he's never been in.
I've seen that as well. I'm excited to see him do the Indy 500.
What Max has done in terms of diversity in his entire career up to this point. But Max is certainly held on this pedestal because people have been trained to think that Formula 1 truly is the pinnacle of motorsports. Formula 1 is not the pinnacle
I don't think that.
Formula 1 is the pinnacle of technology and development.
Stop putting me in this stereotype.
Absolutely. But when it comes to driver talent, it's not the pinnacle of motorsports. When you look at it, there's a ton of mid-Formula 1 drivers. Contrary to what the people on Twitter say, where there's no such thing as a mid-F1 driver.
I could list some.
Tons of mid-F1 drivers. But when you look at Lewis and Max, for example, they've never raced outside of Formula 1, outside of open-wheel cars. It's hard to judge if they're truly that great of a race car driver. Now, Max is a great open-wheel driver, right? He continually just absolutely knocks Sergio Perez into the dirt week after week, and it's not even a competition at this point. He's just so much better than him, and they truly are equal.
Yeah, but I also think there's a separate discussion about
absolutely far and away
Perez
the best driver on his team. But if you put another driver,
they're racing the same car, and Perez is not.
Charles Leclerc, probably not. He'd just end up wrecking and tossing it away. But you get the gist. If you put them into that Red Bull, they're likely recreating most of what Max has done. But when you look at a guy like Fernando Alonso, his resume is, again, much more rounded than what Max's is.
See, that's weird because if you put all the drivers in a Red Bull car,
because of that, even though he's
I don't think
almost not twice, but 20 years
some of them would be able to do what Max has done. So
I mean, when you look at it, Fernando's a 2-time Formula 1 world champion.
That's just
won a bunch of races in Formula 1. Went over and won the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Won the 24 hours of Le Mans with Toyota, went on to win the World Endurance Championship. He went to Dakar and raced off-road. The guy continually tries to push his limits. He went to Indianapolis, ran really well on his first attempt. Not so well in the second 2 attempts, where McLaren just really couldn't figure out the difference between standard and metric. At the end of the day, his resume is more diverse and more well-rounded and probably makes him a better race car driver than what Max is right now. And that's not to say that Max can't eventually be a really well-rounded race car driver. And I'm still convinced that most Formula 1 drivers don't want to race anything outside of Formula 1, because if they do bad and they get embarrassed, then that sort of knocks down the facade that Formula 1 drivers are the greatest drivers in the world. Great drivers, that doesn't make them the greatest drivers in the world by any means.
That's the first point I disagree
Kyle Larson,
with.
like I said, from a natural driving ability, likely more talented than Max Verstappen. But until Max goes out there and tries to prove it, we'll never know. It. And listen, I understand Max doesn't want to race ovals. Completely understand that, especially in IndyCar. They're scary. And if you didn't grow up on it, it makes a lot of sense. And I don't think there's anything wrong in admitting that you're scared and you don't want to do that. At the end of the day, it's a really dumb argument to make, right? Because
I was going to say that it's an empty debate.
Kyle Larson is
because Max hasn't done anything outside of F1, so we'll never know
Max is
which one is better.
In one category. If you put Kyle Larson into a Formula 1 car right now, Max is going to wax him. If you put Max Verstappen into a NASCAR stock car, Kyle Larson's going to wax him. Like, it just is what it is at this point. So it's a dumb argument, but when you look at it from a racing resume standpoint, Kyle Larson's racing resume and how diverse it is far and away better than what Max's is.
That was an interesting video. I was going to say, like before, I should have said really before the video, I wasn't, just because I watch F1 is like the main motorsport that I watch, and yes, I'll watch other ones, but F1 is like most special to me. I wasn't going to lean towards Max anyway, because like he said there, and actually I was going to make that point anyway, since watching the Dirt series, I've seen that Kyle Larson has done so much more outside of NASCAR, whereas Max hasn't really done that. So I think this is kind of like an empty debate, because until, like he said, until Max does races outside of F1, we'll never know which one is the better driver. Simple. Like, you could say, yeah, Kyle is better because he's done races outside of NASCAR, but we don't know that, because what if you put Max in these cars and he does well? On the other hand, he might do absolutely shit, and then yeah, fair, Kyle is the better driver, but we won't know until Max, I say until, if he ever does lean towards something outside of F1. Don't know. So I think it's a bit of an empty debate, to be fair. But nevertheless, it was an interesting video, and it did get my brain working. I do live for these kind of debates. I wonder if Kyle Larson would ever want to do something in F1. Maybe, because he's moving to IndyCar to do the Indy 500. That's open wheel racing. Who knows? Let me know in the comments if you'd want to see Kyle Larson in F1. And do you think he'd do well in F1? It all depends. If he does well in the Indy 500, I mean, we've seen that he's qualified 5th already, but if he does well in the actual race, maybe that's something he should look at. F1. Who knows? When he gets bored of NASCAR and everything else, maybe he should hop over and do a bit of F1. Yeah, that was a good video. So with that being said, if you have any other videos that you'd like me to react to, drop them in the comments. I'm working my way through everybody's suggestions at the moment. If you did want to check out any of my other socials, they are all linked down below. And if you wanted to become a member on this channel and receive exclusive perks, you could also do that by hitting the join button down below. But I hope you enjoyed today's reaction, and I will catch you next time for the next one. Bye!